And private employers added 145,000 jobs in March, according to ADP's latest report. This data coming in lower than expected, and it's one more sign that the economy is slowing. But what exactly is the ADP report and why does it matter? Brad here has all the answers for us.
Yeah, that's right, Jared. And so ADP came in lower than expected in March, but what does this actually mean when it comes to the state of our economy? Well, the ADP report, it tracks non-self-employed workers in the U.S., and it's seen as a preview to the more important jobs day, which is this Friday. Now, it's collected through ADP Private Payroll Services. That company does payroll for about 20% of privately employed workers in the U.S., so it gets a pretty good gauge on the state of things. So what's the big difference between ADP numbers and the Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers, the BLS? Well, the main factor is that ADP only covers non-farm private workers, while BLS, that report also incorporates government employees to its data. ADP actually changed its methodology back in July of 2022. The report was previously criticized for not being an adequate preview of the monthly employment situation published 2 days after by the BLS. And so why does it matter? This report is a precursory indicator for sector employment and wage moderation as well. And so even as we kind of go through some of the figures here, it's important to remember that two of the methodology changes that had been made, of course, they were looking to provide more high-frequency measures of employment, including jobs and wages, Jared, and to provide a clear, near real-time assessment of the labor market that can inform business leaders, researchers, and policymakers here. So those some of the updates that they had made to the methodology here. And even as we were continuing to look through you and I some of the data this morning, I think it's actually resulted in the disparity, or at least the difference between the two different numbers, tightening just a little bit. However, of course, there still is that gap.
Yeah, we have to express this with a huge caveat. And you were spot on to look at that spread, and we were noticing how it has compressed a little bit, but it's only been a few months. Let's say it's been 8 or 9 months, and these reports are very volatile. They're always revised. By the way, the BLS, the government, just revised, and it does this annually, last year's data, and so that created some ripples in the data universe as well. But the overall trends are in place here. It was a disappointment on the private payrolls report. I think that's the bottom line, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. And so continuing to look through some of the sectors, that could be a little bit more telling as to where we might see some carry through, or at least some common threads drawn between the BLS report. That's going to come on Friday,
yes,
and between today's ADP report as well.
You bet.